Hello everyone, this is my technically second recorded poker session. Gonna play some small stakes. I think that's sort of like just like a good pool to play anonymously. There's tons of people. You can kind of move down, splash around. I'm sort of testing out a new highly exploitative strategy. Nick Howard is a poker coach I follow on YouTube. He's super awesome, super inspirational guy, and he sort of has a blueprint strategy he uses at higher stakes and mid stakes as well. But it sort of universally works, and I've been sort of testing it out in smaller stakes just to sort of refine some things. And it's really all about refined regression. It's not that you're necessarily playing like a maniac, but you're trying to put yourself in spots where you can think quickly and clearly and sort of go off of your reads in a lot of spots to take down pots. And with his check back range, very dry board, and that's a great river for us. So I'm going to bet, and there were some ace highs that floated. So I think I can actually bet on the bigger side here. I think ace 10 is good enough to bet for some strong value. And this happens. Hands that do this. A deuce, or he thinks I don't have an... Is there better value? I think I have to call here. It's an unfortunate start. Very tough spot. My hand just might be a lot stronger than he perceives. And he has a quad deuces. Okay. That's a hand. Sometimes you get bopped on the head on your first hand of the day, and it just happens. You just move on. Ace 10 under the gun. Going to open it up. Take it down. Going to top off here. Okay. Letting go of 6-7 under the gun. Just a little too loose to open something like that. Suited, I might consider it. 3 limpers. I don't really like messing around with multiple limpers with a hand like this. So I'm just going to let that go. I might limp in there with like some sort of suited connectors, like 7-9 of clubs. Let's see, I'm going to squeeze here. Just min raising for now. Been using some weird bet sizings at times, just like randomly going a little bigger once in a while. And I've actually noticed I get played back out a little more when I go bigger. And I think people might actually just like sort of recognize that I'm the person who uses weird sizings. So I've been trying to cut back on that a little bit. I'm going to bet this flop. I think I can breathe on it and still get one through. Against 2 players, I have to ramp it up just a little bit, but it won't take much. Queen 4 off, going to let this go. I could think about opening, but there's a big stack on my left. And 2 sort of pretty big stack in the small blind who could also squeeze. And this just hand is just, I don't like playing unsuited big card, little card hands. It's pretty much, you're going to either lose a huge pot or, maybe you take down the blinds. But all the times that you get called, just dominated. And then flop top pair, and now what? Same sort of situation here. With a limp and a raise. I'm just not super interested in 3-betting this, and I am just with the extra limper makes me want to fold. Just going to let that go. Move on with my life. Eight, 7 off. Depending how often I think this small blind is squeezing, I could see flatting. But against a shorter stack that limped, I'm actually gonna pop this. Not really interested playing it out of position. So I'm going to take it down now if I can. He calls, and we actually flop a pretty good hand. Going to check range out of position. He does have a lot of pocket pairs in this spot. Does pocket tens just limp though? I feel like he opens pocket tens. He could have some little pairs. I think middle pair is okay to call with here. Not super interested in raising. That's a good turn. I'm going to check. See if he wants to just commit himself. There he goes. And we have a full house. Alright, so we're back pretty much even. That hand worked out a little bit better from the cooler department. Gonna open this. I'm opening pretty wide in this environment. It's very nitty. There are some more aggressive guys, but there's a couple people I've sort of noticing I've been playing only for a couple days at this stakes, and there's a lot of guys who raise like 85 cents, 75 cents, and 85 cents, like really huge, and they fold tons to 3-bet with those huge sizings. So I'm sort of just like printing money against those guys, and then they 4-bet very, very honestly. I'm going to check this back. I think there's some ace-x that call there, and I'm going to kind of see how he handles the turn if he checks again. So small sizing here. This is... I'm going to peel one, but I'm not loving anything about this. If he shuts it down, I'll get free showdown potentially against like something weird, but yeah. I think we lost the minimum there. Betting on the flop might have actually taken it down in hindsight, but I think there are a lot of ace-x hands that call, and I have enough showdown value with a jack checking back and playing some turns and rivers that I didn't get myself in huge trouble. Would like to squeeze here, but there's a big stack on my left, and I just don't really feel like getting into that spot at the moment. Got the queen 3 off. Gonna be seeing how this progresses. 2 big stacks in early position. Raise, call. 75 to win 325. I'm still just not interested. I don't like to talk myself into marginal pot odds situations out of position. It's just not like, I don't think I'm gaining or losing win rate by like overthinking that spot. Gonna squeeze here. Take it down. Gonna be opening this if he folds. Sometimes in early position I will use a bigger sizing if I feel like somehow the extra 5 cents will make 2 guys on my left fold, but not really always necessary, especially with shorter stacks on my left to do that. Get 3-bet pretty large. Going to call in position here. It's close. This c-bet just doesn't really make a lot of sense. I have the nut flush blocker. I'm going to check raise this, or I should just say raise this. Kind of see where he is, and he was full of shit. Just like people over c-bet that spot, that flop does not hit his 3-betting range at all. I mean, unless he has pocket 8s, I guess, but it's just like, I mean, that is true. There are some little pocket pairs there, but I think he would also probably I don't know, maybe check those hands. Don't really feel like 3-betting this hand. Gonna be letting this go. Queen 4, gonna let it go. 3-5, gone. So I'm typically a live player on the East Coast, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I'm going to be raising here. So I kind of like, for recording purposes, just playing one table on Zoom. I think it sort of is good practice for live. You still have to be a little patient in some spots. It's obviously way faster than live, but just kind of like a good... so this hand, deuce 3 off. I'm going to let it go, but it is the deuce 3 off is kind of a famous Pittsburgh hand called the Dirty Diaper. People like kind of play it like the nuts, like some maniacs play it like the nuts. I will throw in a 3-bet with it once in a blue moon, but I'm not going to get too crazy. And I'm not interested in this spot, really. It could be like an interesting squeeze with some better hands than this. I'll let this go. Gonna open this if it folds. I'm opening pretty wide in the buttoning cutoff. Opening pretty wide, like universally in certain situations, but you just get so many folds. This flop I'm gonna bet with the ace of hearts. I think I can again kind of breathe on it and see how turns and rivers go if they call. Because it's not a heart, I'm actually going to barrel one more time. There are some kings that call there, for sure. But I'm willing to sort of test them. I think a lot of kings might raise that flop with the heart draw out there, so felt like sort of weak heart draw, maybe like little pocket pair that wanted to get sticky. Gonna open this. He checks back and then this card comes. There are some ace kings that floated the flop here. I think I'm actually just gonna check. There's a lot of king high that just checks back. He bets super small, and I almost want to just check raise, and it just doesn't make a ton of sense. Okay, so he was just stabbing for like the worst sizing ever. Don't really love defending, but against this short stack, I'm going to call. If he checks back, I'm pretty much bombing all the turns. And I almost want to check raise. He does, from early position, have some aces. I'm just really tempted to check raise this guy. I think I know who this is, or like, I just recognize this bet type. Okay. These the short stacks in this environment like to make those little stabs like super cheap on the flop, and maybe they get away with it some places, but check raising a lot of different flops. I'm not really attacking too many ace high boards. I'm going to attack this button. Open. With the king 5, a little spicy, but people are opening so wide on the button in this environment that I'm just going to be, if it folds to them on the button and they open, I'm pretty much, if I have a face card in my hand, I'm just testing the waters. especially like good suited hands and suited connectors. I'm sort of in like little pairs. I'm just like pressuring everybody. Not getting crazy with like 8-3 off or bad hands, but King 5 is sort of near the probably the bottom of my range there. King Deuce might still be a fold. It's close, and this is just gonna let it go. I've been folding so much 8-7, like I feel like I've had 8-7 every hand. Just folded it. Ace Deuce, two big stacks on my left. This is kind of like, seems like a tough table to be honest with you. And there's an open. I'm just gonna let this go. I'm not really interested in fucking with what seems like some sort of a reggy table. I like playing with short stacks or like guys with shit tons that might be in kind of spew mode. I'm gonna 3-bet this. Something like this. Check range out of position. This flop doesn't really hit either of us, and I'm going to check raise him if he tries to stab here, I think. Just kind of like such a dry flop. He should be betting it, like with pretty much his whole range. He checks back, and I'm just going to attack here. Somewhat big, like this. A little more than half pot, like 2/3 pot. And like, what is he calling with ace king on this? Maybe. I mean, that might be. Yeah, he just doesn't have a lot going on there. I think some overpairs bet the flop. With a limper, I'm gonna let this go. Gonna call here. Kind of hope that the other guy calls. Okay. A little bit of a loose peel. We have an open ender and a weak check back range. Now I could have something like king queen. I think I actually like checking this again. Let him maybe sort of delayed c-bet if he wants to, and we're just gonna check and give up. Seven and a spade draw. So he would have called a turn barrel and then probably not believed us on the river. Or maybe he would have, but I don't know if I would have been comfortable pulling a trigger there. I think it was better just to let it go. And honestly, probably a mistake pre-flop that got us into like a head scratcher spot. Against a big stack that just flats like that, I'm kind of tempted to just squeeze this hand. Pretty decent flop. Going to check range out of position. Sort of see how he plays this. He checks back, and I think this is kind of a spot where I'd like to sort of attack him here with like this sizing. And if we get called, I'm just going to give up. And we take it down. Kind of a close spot. I'm not I wouldn't say I was like super comfortable. I did like attacking his check back range, but I mean, if it were me, I think I have a tendency probably to check back a lot of like monsters on that flop. Although the spade draw, I think like a lot of aces or like weird two pair combos probably have to bet that flop with a hand that could have a lot of straight and flush draws out there. So when he checks back, it's almost like, does he have like pocket nines or something that we can kind of attack? Open ender here. I think this is the guy that folded to us last time. I'm actually going to raise this. It doesn't really make sense as a donk for him. I don't really know what he's repping. Maybe some queens, but there's no draws out there. I don't really know what, like if he's betting with middle pair. And now here with a flush draw and a straight draw, just going to keep betting. Something like this. I'm actually going to go a little towards the 2/3 sizing and take it down. Ace deuce. Two short stacks on my left. I like a 3-bet here. Just like a little flare. 3-bet. Gonna go a little bigger because we gotta get through two people and a big stack in the small blind. It just puts a lot of pressure on his open there, and he's gonna shove, and we just let it go. So that's what I mean about they're either like snap folding in that spot or like overplaying the top of their range, and I can just get away from it very easily. So it's very incentivized to just keep doing it, just because that's the first, I think since we've started this, that's maybe the first hand I haven't won where I 3-bet. And this is a good flop to check raise with my exact hand, especially with this, the ace of spades blocker. I can rep a lot of spades on turns even if he does call. Take it down instantly. Guys are just way over c-betting those kind of flops. Gonna let this go. This is close with a big stack on our left, but he hasn't really been 3-betting much. I'm just gonna let this go. I just didn't really love the spot. With ace rag. This is a hand I'll defend. So there's a squeeze. And since I'm out of position, I'm inclined to 3-bet here. Sometimes I would just call with like maybe even a better hand. This isn't the best hand in the world. Seemed like kind of an obvious squeeze spot for him. Gonna attack him and see how he handles it. And I think this is probably the guy that shoved. And I'm just gonna check rip on this board. That's actually a good turn for us. And I've been like stabbing a lot of these turns, so for once I actually have value and gonna bet about the same. And I think he's getting fed up. I'm just gonna ship this. I'm just gonna get it in. I think there's some diamond draws that do this too. Oh, he has a 6. Okay. So checked back. I mean, it's a good check back by him. I would do the same thing. I guess we just call and then probably have to call some kind of. So keep in mind I 3-bet that hand. Kind of like pretty bad call by him in position. It happens. I'm just gonna kind of remember that hand as one I need to look back at later about maybe. I guess some ace kings float the check back the flop as well. That maybe I don't need to get it in there. I just felt like a lot of diamond draws raised that turn. And kind of just, he was short stacked, so just figured we'd get it in. and a lot of like ace jack or king jack, queen jack, or not king jack. King jack would be bad, but some queen jack, jack 10 that got a little sticky and felt committed. I'm gonna 3-bet this. Check range out of position. Gonna be ripping the shit out of this flop with my diamond blocker, top pair, gutter ball. He calls, and not the best turn in the world, to be honest. I think a lot of queens call there. Gonna check again, and his check back is interesting, especially with a spade draw on the turn, so I'm pretty much just gonna bet this about half pot and maybe chop or just take it down. So it's been a up and down start. We hit 50 bucks and we're back down to even, but you know, I'd rather, if you're gonna get bopped on the head or hit some variance or, you know, make some plays that might not exactly be positive EV, then I'd rather do it when you know, I'm not going completely south. You know, I'm sort of playing with house money, as they call it. And I'm okay with doing that at these stakes because I'm sort of testing out this new strategy and refining my game with it. So, you know, even if make some mistakes, it's still a great learning opportunity. And I'm gonna bet this turn. Take it down. Not surprised. Wouldn't have been surprised if he had quad fives there. I'm kind of running into it a few hands today early on. We also coolered someone pretty bad earlier, so it comes and goes. Gonna open this. It's sort of the bottom of my range in the cutoff. As far as Queen X goes, Queen 7 I've been opening sometimes against certain, like if I have a short stack on my left. But I'm not getting 3-bet very often. So I'm actually going to bet this flop. There's a chance he folds and gives me position on later streets. Instead, he decides to call. And I think I'm going to give up. There's a lot of pairs and kings that call, and he's going to bet and I fold. It's probably worth checking there. Might be a little bit of a spewy stab. I'm going to kind of recalibrate here and try to get back into the zone a little bit. Always important to recognize when I'm not exactly playing my A game. I'm going to actually 3-bet here. You ain't going to pick on my blinds today, I'll tell you that. Just like to shoot some warning shots out there so that people know. Not interested in this spot. Same with this. Let this go. Suited, I probably open that. Opening pretty wide in this environment. This is one of those patient moments I was talking about. Fold. Sometimes it takes a little long. Just sit up straight, Deep breath. I have not been taking enough deep breaths this session. Gonna let this go. Tommy Angelo is another great guy. Nick Howard and Tommy Angelo are two of my kind of favorite teachers for different reasons. Nick just for really everything under the sun. Mental game, inspiration, data analysis. He can get super complex with you, or he can like speak so much truth like you can't even handle it, which is great. And then Tommy, just from he's basically like a Buddha. Just like read the book Elements of Poker. I'm sure a lot of people have. I'm gonna check this back. We have 2 pair. If he checks again, I'm tempted to bet. Kind of over bet pot. Whew. If he folded a queen there, I'm thrilled. If he folded a 3 there, I'm like blown away. I don't think he would hold a 3 there, but gonna probably be letting this go. Eight, 9 off. It's like very bottom of my range from the hijack. I'll open it sometimes. Not in this spot. I might 3-bet a button open some portion of the time, and I am going to squeeze with this. Take it down. Almost back to starting stack. 2 cents. Come on, guys. Give me your 2 cents. I'm going to 3-bet this hand, I think, if it folds around. If he cold calls, okay, so he 3-bets. Just going to get out of the way here. Not interested in this spot, really. It's marginal and close, and I'm out of position. And I don't think these guys are really showing they're going to be folding. Out of here. With the queen 6 off. King 8 on the button. Min raise. This gets through like way too often. Pretty good flop. If he bets, I think I still have to call. He could be doing that with the ace of hearts. Why he's tanking down, I'm not exactly sure. What that means, I'm just going to be like betting. I'm going to be breathing on this. What just happened? Okay, so I was lagging somehow. And now he is betting 25 cents and I can't do anything about it. Okay, good for you, bud. Congrats. What happened? Sometimes I wonder if the recording stuff's making this a little laggy, but I haven't had too many problems. That was weird. Cost us a little money, probably. He could have had a flush there and had us totally coolered. Gonna squeeze here. On the bigger side. Get double called with a pretty linear, sort of Broadway heavy range. I don't think I have too much interest in betting this flop. Don't mind playing some turns. If it goes check, check again, I'm somewhat tempted. I just don't see how this isn't an ace or a king. My check back range is pretty weak here, but does this guy really realize that? Half pot bet. I'm gonna call. Could be a lot of spade draws that decided to get frisky. And him checking, I'm just gonna get free showdown. Take it down. Whew. Almost folded there, folks. It wouldn't have been a great fold. The half pot sizing was kind of interesting. And I honestly thought he might consider like checking a hand like ace king again. Or a spade draw, like a weak spade draw. Alright, so I'm going to open this up to... Sometimes I just like tanking down a little bit. Once in a while to make up for the times when I'm not paying attention. And we get attacked. In position. I'm going to take sort of a liberal peel here. This is a pretty good flop. We have two pair, guys. I'm just going to check back. Diamond draw. If someone puts a lot of money in the pot, I'm not really going to continue, but I'm just going to check back again if they let me. He's interested in putting money in now. I think I just have to fold this hand. Not going to go down the rabbit hole of, you know, my defending, like how low am I defending and how many times am I just getting free rolled with a better one card diamond draw, which is every single one of them because I have a deuce. My pair is rarely ever playing, and if the board pairs, I'm actually just like completely 100% dead against like any over pairs, any hand, like literally any hand in the world. So just like nothing worth continuing there, in my opinion. Take a walk with the Jack 5. It's living good. 6-10 off. It's the pretty much bottom of my opening range if it folds to me. Honestly, it actually might even be in like more like the middle. I'm not 3-betting it, but I'm opening so wide on the button when it's folded to me. It's crazy, which is also why I'm rarely ever getting 3-bet. And that's also why I'm 3-betting so much from the small blind, because I just think everybody should and is closing their eyes and just raising when it folds them on the button in this environment, so I can just 3-bet like 90%. I'm not really 3-betting 90%, but I'm actually going to open this, get a little bit frisky with all these nits, and I don't mind playing against money bags. We have a pair and a backdoor flush draw. Part of me wants to bet this flop. On the bigger side. And that is a hell of a turn. Now we could have some king jacks. This is close. I'm gonna bet. Pretty big. Kind of discourage him check raising. And it also looks like I have a straight, so I'm kind of merged. If he has a straight, he'll probably just have to rip and I can just get away from it. I'm Gonna open this. Get 3-bet. Don't love defending this hand. Against the button, I'm honestly gonna 4-bet this. I probably have pretty low 4-betting stats. I kind of just like clicking it back here. I'm gonna check raise this flop. I just feel like he has now that he called, he has like a lot of like, there could be some pairs, to be honest. I'm really tempted to check raise this. It just feels like a check raise. Really small bet. I'm going to call with my gutter. Not the best hand. Sometimes you got to fight back a little bit. And I picked the wrong time. It happens. Just recalibrating. We'll run this back up. Not concerned at all. Have to keep pushing the strategy. It definitely wasn't a, it's not a great hand, but it's not a hand that I probably should have even considered 4-betting, if I'm being honest. It was just kind of like one of those spots where I just think the button is the only place people are 3-betting on the wide side. Now we could have had like an actual monster there, and it happens. I'm just going to be betting this, just breathing on it. Tightening up just a bit. Just to kind of get myself back on track, get some momentum going. Here's an open. Check raise, or just get a free peel, or stab turns. Not really any bad results. It's just like a printing money turn stab. And I'm also check raising, like there's not a lot of ways I can lose that hand unless he flops a set, or has like sweet overs that he slow played. Opening this, just like one random little flare. I'm gonna see about this flop though, and attack his little donking range. Just not falling for it. Okay, and giving up. Actually, his checking range is pretty weak. I'm just actually going to attack him here. Especially on an overcard. I think I get a ton of folds. Would have been a mistake not to bet that, I think. shows that my like first thought today has sometimes been the wrong thought. Again, just going to attack this. I just don't get it. If he checks again, I'm going to consider betting, but I'm just going to fold here. Just going to fold this now. Not fucking around, folks. Gonna breathe on this and like take it down with like barely any money. Barrel this turn. And get paid off on this river. Just gonna put them all in. He has $5. Not gonna like fuck around. If he has a weak flush, he might still call. Like he could have been on a flush draw there. Just like not interested in betting thin on a guy that could just be completely dominated and close his eyes and call. He has $5 left. The pot's $3. I'd rather just make more overall than try to get cute. In like if the guy had more chips, I would bet thin, and if the pot was bigger. But gonna open this, tank down a little bit. Maybe they'll notice when I tank down a little and then raise. Sometimes people stick around. Just gonna c-bet this, breathe on it here. Awesome turn. Gonna barrel. On the bigger side. Any club draws? I actually kind of just want to like bomb this. He snap calls. I'm actually going to bet huge on this river. If he calls with a worse king, I'm just like thrilled. If he has king queen, good for him. But I'm going to make like a really bluffy sizing here. Get called by worse king. Beautiful. Like snap called and overbet. Never give up, people. They bop us on the head, they smash us, and we just keep fighting, climbing. Bring it on. I'm going to be 3-betting this hand if any of these jokers open here. Okay, that's good. Popping it. Take it down. Take a walk. Good hand here. Gonna 3-bet. Gonna bet larger because if he feels like calling, please do. Huh. Gonna bet 1/3 range. I know it's multi-way, but I actually kind of like this formation on the run out on the flop here. Gonna barrel again on a non-spade turn. Get a ton of folds. Maybe he does have some pocket pairs here, but I think I can go like half pot. I think a 9 bets here. I think I'm going to check back against his misdraws with ace high. It's close. Oh man. Should have barreled. Fuck. Oh, we had the same, basically in the same spot. Should have barreled it. Not good. Not the best played hand. I just felt like it's so pocket pair heavy that I just didn't know. I just didn't feel like it was a great spot. Gonna 3-bet this. And 1/3 range. Breathe on the turn, take it down. Open this up. I'm actually going to use my like random weird bigger sizing here, since I have to get through 3 people. Take it down. So the hand I'll defend. I might 3-bet a button open. In the cutoff, I think I'm just going to defend here. We have a purr, and I'm going to check raise this flop. This is a flop that people bet way too often. $24-7. Check raising you 24-7 on this type of board, bud. Take it down. That's just like, just way, way, way over bet. And they fold almost to every check raise on that formation. That's just like printing money at this limit. Kind of want to smash here. I know it got us in trouble earlier. Actually, in position, I'm just going to call. If I was out of position, I might just sort of smash it. Gutter ball. Odd. He could have ace king. Well, bet is a lot of times a bluff. Gonna raise here. Take it down, insta-muck. It's like people are just like to stab. Gonna bomb it. Get insta-called. Check. Maybe they'll give me a free peel. Just gonna have to call here with a flush draw. He had nothing and won. Okay. Interesting. He had nothing but still had us dominated. That's good. That's a good spot to be in. We lost $3. I'll get through it. So we're off to kind of a rough start, shall we say. Gonna defend. Bottom pair. Gonna fold. Move on with life. Gonna open this. Three bet. Take down. I'll let this go. A little bit card dead. Nice little message from our friends. Oops. Gonna open this. Take down. Little flare there. Bigger sizing. The Sixers. This will be a 3-bet. If number 5 opens, he does not. Gonna probably take this down pre. Get 3-bet. Gonna call. Set would be nice. He'll over c-bet this flop, and I'm just gonna pop him in the mouth. With hands like ace-king, he's just like over c-betting this. Take it down. That was a little on the aggressive side. I wouldn't try that at home. Just gonna call here. Weirdly enough, maybe this guy just checks it for once. I don't think I've seen a limped pot flop in a while, so maybe not the best spot. Could be a sign that I'm slipping into B game a little bit. Not that, I don't even know if I played my A game the last half hour. I feel like I'm playing solid. I think I played a pretty bad hand. I'm just going to let this one go. Played a couple hands that gonna have to look at them again. And maybe some people will watch this and think I have a shit ton to work on, and that's good. I'm trying to learn. What I would love is if Nick Howard checked this out and gave me like a true analysis. Be very interested to see if I'm like just the biggest lag tart ever. Gonna be check raising this flop. I'm betting this turn for a variety of reasons, including having a purr. He just doesn't believe me with something like pocket tens. He had Jack 10. Already got myself into enough trouble with Jack 5 today. Queen 8's an open for me. Might even 3-bet this small stack here. One-third range. Get check raised. Gonna pretend I'm thinking about this at all, but folding. Might even like go to like sitting out. Just really lay it on thick. Okay, you got me, dude. I'm folding an ace to you. I am going to min raise, or like not min raise, but do this. Kind of hoping he like clicks it back even more. I'm just gonna bomb it. No hearts. No hearts, baby! Baby! Love that. Love everything about him calling with ace queen. Please do. I'm glad we didn't try to check rip, because he might have actually just like checked back, found out he didn't hit a hard on the turn, and then given up. I think it's better just to like stick it in, especially against like pocket kings, pocket jacks, pocket queens. Someone who's like doesn't want to let go of the heart. Gonna open this some percentage of the time and fold to a 3-bet like insta muck goodbye. Gonna breathe on it. We're back to even on the day. Was playing a little PLO earlier. Built up a nice stack in there, and then brought it on over to the streets. Let's see. I don't play PLO as much. I don't play PLO at all live in Pittsburgh. It's like there's only like usually one game, and it's all regs. They play pretty deep, and it's just like kind of bigger than I enjoy playing. I can play those stakes. It's just like, especially in a game like PLO with so much variance, I'm just not loving putting like big chunks of my bankroll on the line in a game like that. Gonna call. See a flop. It is a good flop, unless he has ace queen or queen jack, which are hands that could definitely 3-bet. Or a hand like king 10. I think I just have to close my eyes and call all the way down here. If he's going to use a donk, donk, donk line, it's just very bluff heavy. And if he checks, I'm just fucking bombing him. Here we go. By bombing, I mean 2/3 pot. Just take it down. Probably could have bet a quarter there and taken it down, to be honest. Once he checks, it's just like, oh, you c-bet. You think, like, in his head, he thinks he has to c-bet like every flop, even when he's out of position. And instead of checking range, like we've been practicing, he's putting himself in spots like that. I'm going to fold. Not interested in that formation of call. Now I'm in the small blind. What do I do? Just trying to avoid the like super high variance spots. Stay out of like what I call the margins, where yeah, you might be making like a little EV here and there, but I'd rather win in like the trenches where sort of as Nick Howard describes, like you're winning like with these little flares and attacking boards people c-bet too much and check raising them. And I'm going to be 3-betting this hand. And that is something. It's hard to fold pocket sevens here. I think I actually might just call. Not super interested in clicking it back. And luckily he folded. Might consider check raising this, especially because I block all the straights, but it actually means I block a lot of his bluffs when he bets this. So it feels like overs are a 10, but I'm getting a price that I'm okay with calling with. And like I said, I do actually kind of like sort of check raising this, and I'm actually going to. Once he calls, he has tons of pairs. Just getting out of the way. Probably could have just called. Maybe gotten like a free pull. It's close. I think people c-bet that board too much, and I had some pretty good blockers and equity. Gonna 3-bet this. One-third range. Take it down. Love it. Letting it go. Gonna 3-bet this. Take it down. The honeys. Gonna 3-bet this. So all this trash I've been 3-betting with, now I finally have a hand. Take it down. I love to see what my 3-betting stats are in this environment. It's comical. I've got to be marked up as a fish. I just have to be. Maybe not. Maybe just a lag. Taking it down. Folding. Queen 9. Gonna let it go. The dirty diaper. Gonna mix in a flare here. The Pittsburgh special, the dirty diaper. Don't try this at home, kids. Don't try this at home. And I'm somehow going to be in position, which is nice. I'm just going to c-bet this flop. Can I win with the dirty diaper? Is there a way to show my hand if I win this? Just breathing on it. Get called. Actually turn a little equity. And the fact that he called on a flop like this isn't great. I do kind of want to barrel again, though. It's not great. I don't love him floating. But he could have overs, and that's a pretty shitty river. Then again, pocket tens is in pretty bad shape. I seem like an ace-king impersonator. I'm going to overbet. This is called getting yourself into a shitty situation with deuce 3. And he takes it down. Do not try this at home, kids. Sometimes you just got to grab your balls and kind of pretend you have aces in spots, just once in a blue moon. Because think about all the times that you actually have aces and just nobody fucking calls and you bet, and So sometimes you gotta have if people are just gonna be folding all the time. I'm just gonna attack the large sizing here. It seems like he has a hand that he doesn't really want us to see the flop with. Gonna check call with a purr. Little half pot sizing. He might think I only call with a queen and now give up on turns. And if he checks back, I'm just oh. I have to let this go. He has a lot of ace kings. King queens, king jacks. A lot of Broadway's not a good run out for us. It happens. Now a 9 on the turn, we would have been getting paid off, probably. So that's the incentive. Can I open this? Take it down. I'm gonna put in about 15 more minutes. I made a video the other day and it was too long to post to YouTube, so I have to cut down the streaming aspect. I think this has been a good session. We're barely unstuck. Took this long to get going, and there's a chance I either pop a big pot in the next 15 minutes or torch off my stack. Hopefully not the latter. This is a board I kind of like check raising. And now betting turn. My range seems very flush draw heavy here, and I take it down. I think that board gets over c-bet. I had backdoor spades, and then when the now I can rep flushes, and because I have the ace in my hand, I can still have like the ace of hearts. Or even like an ace on the river and end up getting paid off by like a sticky pocket pair. Like I think there's a lot good that can happen by me check raising in that spot. This is very liberal, but I'm going to open this. People just fold way too much. Now with an open ender, backdoor hearts, gonna breathe on this one. I'm honestly gonna like even bet smaller. That was basically a 1/3 C bet. Gonna be tempted to just, I don't know what's happening. It's just like a crazy sizing. Huh. Okay. Gonna open it up. Gonna c-bet this flop. Take it down. Got about 10 more minutes. Probably gonna play a live tournament tonight. I enjoy them. They're pretty soft. But still a good time. Like, people are at least having fun playing. That's not always the case at cash tables. But there's also some miserable tournament players too. I mean, a lot of people in poker are just bitter and don't work on their game anymore and wonder why they are kind of spewing. And, you know, some people, like, you're in the game too long and just like variance just really can tear you down, and I know that. You know, I've had my ups and downs. Still trying to improve every day. Gonna defend here. Tempted to 3-bet. I actually think I'm going to. It's not really a hand I want to like take to the flop, check call with. I could see a check raise here too. Just gonna let it go. Take it down. Open this. Call. Very good flop. Just gonna breathe on this one. maybe get floated. Take it down. Kind of like a 3-bet here. One-third range. Flush comes in. Breathe on it. Take it down. Check. I would consider raising this. He bet super small. If he doesn't have clubs, it's like pretty tough for him to call. Snap calls. Gonna shut it down. Although, very interesting. His check back is pretty, I don't know what to call it, but I'm just gonna check. Could have taken it down there. A little bet could have taken that down. Maybe like an overbet. I think my range looked a lot like ace of clubs, so maybe that was, especially when he checks back, I think I should have stabbed. Definitely a mistake. Gonna check raise this guy. That guy already did it. Definitely missed a spot there, so I'm gonna mark that one up as missed value, or sorry, missed bluffing opportunity. That was not a game to check that. But to be honest, like if he did have a flush on the flop, am I really getting him to fold now that there's 4 clubs out there? Like I just wasn't really interested in getting a flush to fold. Maybe I'm like being results oriented with his exact hand. He honestly shouldn't have even really called with his exact hand. I'm going to be check raising this. Open ender, backdoor spades. I think a check raise gets through on this type of flop a pretty good amount. And if he calls, I'm probably just going to have to give up. But unlike spade turns, I can actually rep spades. Like that one, for example. Bet small on this turn. And I kind of want to like check and let him check back and see, because he could have a flush here. There we go. I thought about bombing it, but I don't think he's calling. So I might as well just like get free showdown with a weak flush. That hand kind of worked out. Got a little lucky there that we didn't get ourselves in some trouble. I think the check raise was fine though. And I think this actually might be the guy we just played against, so he's probably going to call. Nope. Okay. About 5 minutes left. I think we're getting to a good stopping point. as I can feel myself getting a little bit tilty or spewy or something. I know we're up, but I'm getting like kind of cray-cray, which is good. I think when you have a big stack, it's sometimes good to use that opportunity to make some nice plays. And I'm actually going to, speaking of interesting plays, I'm going to be check raising this. I think it's a good spot, and I take it down. Just going to get out of this spot. I don't really care about my pot odds with a shitty hand that's just going to get me in trouble. Take a walk. Open this up with my insta timing. Maybe people think that's super strong, that's why they fold so much. I don't know. If so, I'm just going to keep doing it. Unless I have like aces, I guess. But three, five of diamonds. This could be a three betting hand with a button open. Cut off. And a cold call. Just gonna let this one go. Sometimes I would squeeze there. Going to squeeze. A little three bet action. A little on the bigger side. The spice is nice. Woohoo, baby. Take her down. People fold just way too much to three bet in this environment. Now, it has gotten me in trouble a few times. So trying to like tighten up those parts of my game. Gonna defend. Unfortunately, I have to check fold. I don't think this is a flop I can attack. Maybe it is. I just like don't have any equity. Just like too marginal of a spot where he could have some queen X or some 10x or some straight draws or some flush draws. I have none of those things. Couple more hands, we'll call it quits. Play a little off stream. Play until about 6:30 and then go to my tournament. Poker filled day. I might just stop right now and take a little break. Been playing. I played, like I said, a little PLO off stream, or I should say off YouTube. Gonna be three betting this. Actually kind of feel like just defending. I forgot he was so short stacked. Just gonna bet. Put them all in with our various draws. Folding. Folding. The 4s. Gonna 3-bet. Take it down. Fold. Alright. I think this might be our last hand if it goes well. Check range out of position. Just gonna check raise because he bet so small. Get one through. Take a walk. Gonna open this. The next like shitty hand I get, I'm stopping. Next time I have to fold, I'm stopping. And that'll do it for us. Thanks everyone for watching. Gonna probably put these up on YouTube, and I don't think that many people will watch. Might send one to Nick Howard, see if he wants to take a look. I might try to edit it down. I don't know how long this one actually ended up being, so appreciate you, and I will probably put a few more of these up this week. Thanks.